his Donkey Kong put on what I can only describe as a legendary performance here today. Have you... Donkey Kong's bottom 10.
Absolutely, absolutely. But there's two players, HIKARU and Chunky Kong, that are pushing him as far as he goes. So this is the fundamental thing of any heavyweight matchup. Do you have the punish game to be able to match what Donkey Kong does in a few hits? Does Gluto have the neutral air, up air, forward air, everything that he needs to be able to do that? Or is he going to drop his punishes?
We're going to find out. Game number 1, losers finals. This is do or die for both of these competitors. HIKARU being the one to send Glutonny into losers, and now Glutonny establishing a bit of momentum. Look at that, the combo, the platform, the extension. That's 78. You want to talk about punish game, Dara? Here you got it. The bite to follow it up. He's been so accurate. HIKARU going for a mix-up, getting punished.
He's reminding Donkey Kong why he's bottom 10. He's reminding him of his game for the dodge. He's reminding him of his blind spot on his recovery, but alas.
How does he do it? He recovers every single time. He's playing Donkey Kong for crying out loud.
But Gluto's still going to be keeping his head in the game. He keeps spacing his horizontal hitboxes on up B. That's how he stays alive. That's how he keeps his head in the game.
But HIKARU fading back to avoid the down air. Glutonny calling out that drift. And this is that adaptation I was talking about, right? Glutonny, did he learn from the previous set? Yes, he did. Now, going about the gimping game in an entirely different way.
Exactly, that mix-up. You think you've adapted? Psych, I'm the one that adapted at the end of the day. Little up air extension, and what a pickup as well. Oh my god.
HIKARU now going from a set where he was entirely in control, now not able to do anything, having zero control over the outcome so far. Only 92 on Gluto, but the punch that KO'd as well across town and city.
Any other stage that probably wouldn't have KO'd, but such is the life of town and city horizontal blast zones. Although that stage is still a little bit long. Down tilt into the dash attack. That is a big boy who is now still alive, 143, and Donkey Kong with rage is a beast.
Oh, this is HIKARU in control. This is HIKARU in control. This is what we've been seeing all day. When HIKARU gets that strong position, that is where he comes alive. And come alive he did, getting a huge lead, but Glutonny, again, gets a stray hit, pushes as far as he can, and push he does.
Donkey Kong recovering low is the worst spot for him because, excuse me, he's looking for it. He didn't get the falling up there.
Yeah, the hurt box shift on the DK up air, saving HIKARU there. Nice mash by HIKARU. The jump is taken. The waft. What was that hitbox from Waft? I've never seen it fizzle like that before.
Well, if I'm HIKARU, I'm chilling. Are
you chilling? Chilling in the blast zone. Chilling in the blast zone. Glutonny with a 2-stock victory. And we were talking about this, Dara. These sets, they live and die by the waft. And the waft fizzled, and Gluto still won. What does that tell us about what Glutonny is doing here?
It just tells us that he is ready to adapt in a moment. Even if it didn't kill, he still kept his head in the game. He took advantage of the position it gave him. It took advantage of how it put him back onto the stage, how it further sent HIKARU off stage, and he was just able to get that punish on the high recovery as well. So we need to talk about this. This is a fundamental thing of what makes bottom twos bottom twos. Almost always that recovery is atrocious, and that disadvantage is atrocious. Gluto is doing this right. He is abusing Donkey Kong's disadvantage. He's abusing his frame for air dodge, and he's abusing his lackluster recovery.
And if we reflect on their previous set, what we saw is that Glutonny tried to gimp HIKARU, right? He tried to capitalize on that disadvantage. However, HIKARU had that extra layer on the ready, and that extra layer is what threw Glutonny off. Now, HIKARU has shown his cards in their previous set, so Glutonny can go back to abusing that disadvantage with that new information.
With that new information, the best tool for Gluto is going to be jumping out there and jumping back on. If you can bait out that double jump stall from Donkey Kong, that's it. That's how you know he's going to recover.
Then there's a sitting duck, right? Especially with the Wario airspeed gets to reposition so flexibly, right? And then the back air can trade with the up B, the down air in the blind spot, like you mentioned, Dara. So many tools, and if he has the waft, even has that on deck, right?
If he has that on deck, he can take off stocks off the side, off stage, all day, all week long. But especially, you do have to consider, I mean, again, this is just really basic stuff, but like, edge guarding is so in the favor of the person going up against Donkey Kong. The up B puts you back onto the stage unless you really miss space and you get hit with the back hit, and if you do connect it, you kill. So that misplaced reward is so skewed in Glutonny's favor. He is able to exploit Donkey Kong's disadvantage. He is reminding him, this is why you bottom 10. Let's see what you got.
And what he got is a Mii Brawler. HIKARU with the pockets deeper then the depths of hell. What is this? HIKARU pulling out the Mii Brawler.
Exactly. He talked about this a little bit sooner. He's not going Donkey Kong all of tournament. He was going to mix up with A, Mii Brawler, B, with Roy. And now he's going to be stuck off stage. He's eating it back here. He doesn't have that down B anymore. And
was that a body block? It looked like a body block. Maybe the toss was just a little bit off the suplex right there. But either way, Glutonny eating good again, having an opponent that he can gimp, and that's a huge in for Wario because that means that he can KO without relying on waft, and he can rack damage like no other.
What a parry! That's a down throw into the up B. That is
way.
a manner of consistency that Mii Brawler brings onto the table that even I would argue Donkey Kong cannot match.
No,
that down throw up B
sure.
is unethical.
And having a consistent KO option against Wario, that is insane. Almost no character can KO Wario consistently. He's too mobile, he's too flexible, he's too threatening. If you mess up, he reverses you, you might be dead. And Mii Brawler here with an insane option in that grab. And an insane option to force the shield as well with the nair.
This could be huge. The rising uphill. It's such a big
critical.
No, these air dodges, Gluto's got to relax. But he's abusing that air acceleration. Even if you do directional air dodge, you can flip out behind you.
And the dash attack. Talking about flexible KO options, we're nearing the full waft range. Only 30 more seconds to go. And Glutonny, if he does not kick the bucket here, he's definitely going to have access to the waft. And that could be a huge game changer. High recovery. No cigar. HIKARU tries to go for the call out, but Glutonny wisened up to the ways of HIKARU. And that killed.
I'm a little bit surprised that killed.
The rising upper. Oh my goodness.
And he's looking for that waft that we mentioned previously.
It's
there. But the question is, can HIKARU get his advantage shade out before Gluto? But
no way. A singular nair? No rage? Glutonny, what a monster. He's looking untouchable this set. This is not the same player matchup we saw earlier in the bracket.
Not at all. He is closing. He is clutching. He is executing. Previously, Game 5, HIKARU, Gluto, he missed a critical waft. He had a few critical misinputs, especially out of up tilt. This time around, he cleaned himself up. He's getting himself back into the game. He is making sure to execute and really push Wario as far as he goes. This is not the same Gluto that we saw in winner's side.
A phoenix rising from the ashes of defeat. Glutonny now in dominant position to take losers finals over HIKARU, the one who sent him into losers. What a chunk of momentum it would be if he could finish this out with a clean 3-0.
If you get that revenge, that is exactly the momentum you want to be going in with against T. But I've got to say, maybe the opposite of exhilarating, this is a split crowd. These are two fan favorites. You have HIKARU, who the funny little character choices, and France, they love the Gluto.
Gluto, the French esports player of the year 2022, now in dominant position. The Donkey Kong is back on Lilac. This is a really good stage for DK.
Talk to us. What is it about Lilac that benefits DK?
So DK as a character gets to cover space so well from the ground, and with this platform layout, it's hard to contest him as he anti-airs you with those up tilts. You can see HIKARU opting for those up tilts more already, and then on top of that, those slants, they don't bother DK, whereas other characters might suffer from the lack of precision incurred by the slants. So DK getting more punishes and getting more consistent neutral. Look at him chilling under the platforms. How do you get in on him?
I like the fact that he didn't go in immediately because he knew that Gluto had waft. It would kind of, it'd be a bit of a waste of time. Another low-angled F-tilt. What's it going to be? How do you get the stock off if you HIKARU?
What a slobber knocker. What a slobber knocker. Both of these players at each other's throats. And Glutonny now in the lead. And the early up B, that's a new mix-up on the table from HIKARU.
Gluto was only ready for the stall. He was only ready for the down under. He wasn't ready for the high early up B. Just as you mentioned, the drop down, double jump up there, that option that catches you sleeping, that is also safe on shield.
It is. What a reversal. Taking the page out of Siski's book. You were talking about it, Dara. Siski waiting out those bites and going for the reversal from ledge. Now HIKARU doing the same.
Ooh, but he ended up crossing in. I think Gluto leaned in a little bit too much on his drag down.
A little bit, but still in a good position. Glutonny still chasing a bit of a trade. Gets HIKARU out and the Giant's Punch again. What a disadvantage tool to have.
And speaking of disadvantage, Gluto has no bike at disadvantage.
I told you about this, but the reversal, Glutonny He lived! He lived! He lived!
And he lives! He makes it back onto the stage.
There's no
he
way.
only eats a potato. How much extra credit is he
There
going to
it
earn?
is.
No more. This test gets no extra credit points whatsoever. The grade you get is the grade that you get.
Now Waft, fully charged. It's such a big factor. We talked about this. And there's the combo that could be the starter. The bite ended prematurely, but Glutonny, I love how he picks up the pressure even when it doesn't go entirely his way. The positioning, like you mentioned before, Dar, the positional pressure, so key for both of these players. The mind games, the delay, the positioning.
Cargo go with the bike. The cargo go with the bike.
Oh my
you talked about this before. Look at this next dimension of pressure that HIKARU is able to instill.
There it is.
Is that it? That
Off
is
stage.
going to be
The
not.
DI was horrible, but Glutonny is alive. Gluto going for the wheelie, not quite what he was looking for there. Now HIKARU sitting on a big lead in this game 3. This is not the clean 3-0 Gluto was looking for, at least not yet. There's a bit of a mountain here, and the mountain is HIKARU.
He wasn't ready for it. He was ready for him to go to the ledge, and that is that ambiguity of Lilac, because that is 100% totally unreactable from that angle. All you have to do is hold down.
Exactly. HIKARU pushing through the empty land,
That's it.
the kill, throw, get out of here. HIKARU is a mountain.
HIKARU is a mountain. Gluto thought that he could climb it, but clearly a little bit steeply than he had initially intended. So he has to set up camp yet again. He has to re-envision his approach to this entirely. You know what? I wasn't really ever thinking about what is Donkey Kong like on Lilac, but I love the fact that you brought that up. The way that dash attack functions and repositions Donkey Kong, he is able to instill a whole nother level of pressure with up tilt yet again. It is impossible to get out of disadvantage against Donkey Kong on Lilac.
How do you land?
You do not.
It's like it's kind of like FD, right? And a lot of characters don't get the FD pressure on Lilac because they rely on whiff punishes. Think about a Greninja, right? You land on the platform, what's Greninja gonna do? But Donkey Kong, he juggles you by contesting you, by covering space. And when that space is covered, even Wario struggles to move around those huge limbs.
Exactly. You take away the thing that makes Wario Wario, aka his air acceleration.
Yes.
If all of a sudden, it doesn't matter what the mix-up is, you're able to cover both options simultaneously thanks to how cozy of a stage Lilac is, thanks to how big Donkey Kong is. But we talked about FD. That's the stage that we're on now. HIKARU's got a lot to make up for.
A lot to make up for, and here he is doing it. A very back and forth game 1. Glutonny with a bit of a lead, the positional pressure, but HIKARU, the reversal. Glutonny, a reversal of the reversal. This is a back and forth for the ages. HIKARU again does anti-air.
Positional pressure. He doesn't go through the immediate follow-up.
Yes.
He just waits just in case Gluto decided to go for a bad air dodge. Instead of going into a tech chase, he knows that situation. He auto-cancels the landing.
And
he's denying Gluto of his own advantage.
Glutonny dies? Dies! We're not even a minute in and HIKARU is already dominating Glutonny. This, again, I thought this was going to be a different set compared to what we saw in winners, but now HIKARU coming alive, a Phoenix in his own accord, learning from his defeats, game 2, but it's a different beast.
A Phoenix just flying past that back, who avoided the win condition. That attack, that's a big boy. But back air is finally going to be able to do it.
A back air for a back air. They're now even, but not in percentage. HIKARU, we see this control, and every time I see the hit, I have to wonder, is this it? Because HIKARU hits you once, you're fearing for your life.
Exactly, and HIKARU is not even punished for his up air attempts. He lands back down onto the ground, but okay, this is huge, because if you get you off here, you can even this up.
Gluto on that half off does not want to let it rip. Goes high, lands, but goes for a reversal immediately after endurance.
The crowd is going wild. The crowd.
HIKARU. He is entertainer right here, right now. HIKARU riding the momentum, riding the wave. Wants his run back against T. He's making it happen. There's a bit of a mountain.
Oh my god, that was Waft. What just happened? Was that Waft, or did I just see something?
Oh my god, I think Waft is still on deck. Yes, he's glowing. Still there, Glutonny holding it. He needs it. It's the win con for Gluto right now. He needs a KO without the waft and then let it rip on the final stock. The pressure's real, but Wario, he's a little bit more committal in conversions rather than Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong more coverage heavy, and we're seeing that differential coming big here. DK The coverage is insane, but Glutonny with the
But not
bait.
enough to be able to cover with the dash attack. That bike toss, impeccable. Gluto
Listen.
has walked. This is doable, but not if he's off stage. Not if he's in the corner.
This is last hit, last
Oh,
stock.
no.
This is last hit, last stock. This is last hit, last stock, but the drop. You talked about the star, right? It's so critical that Gluto is on point. You cannot drop, but the pickup, is that it? He dropped it again! He dropped it again!
He drops it over and over. HIKARU
Triple
finds that
drop
down
from
B.
Gluto,
No
and
shot.
he kicks the buckets.
Is he on set or is he offset? That game, I gotta say, I'm a little bit worried about Gluto because that was supposed to be it.
I'm not a little bit worried. I am a mega worried. This is the final defense of Europe. We saw Gluto getting a magnificent snipe with the bike, and then after that, triple tragedy, quadruple tragedy, and then HIKARU, the kill throw, the comeback, he knew what he had to do. Both of these players, hyper aware of their win conditions, but you know who was more clean in executing them?
HIKARU.
Exactly.
It was HIKARU at the end of the day, but I have a question. How do you make back that kind of a mental block, knowing that that was a set that was in your hands and you dropped it because of your execution? Surely, even as a top player, you have that second guess, you have that voice in your head saying, are you going to mess up again? Are you going to do it again? Are you going to execute this time? Maybe not. How do you actually fight against that? How do you keep yourself clearly not emotional?
That is Glutonny's job here in Game 5. He is the professional. He has been in this position before. Can he make it out this time? Or will HIKARU again make the miracle happen in this Game 5 scenario? So much on the line here. Glutonny, he is climbing the mountain.
He's going to be finding that down B. Doesn't find the up air conversion just in case. Gluto ended up eyeing in Game 5. And what a good just get off me option.
The reversals are so accurate. Like normally, not a big fan of reversals, but the knowledge here that goes into the right button at the right moment, identifying, hey, I actually don't have that big of a disadvantage here. I can sneak in a hit. The air dodge.
He optimizes his advantage. He knows when to auto cancel. He knows when to swing. That is what separates HIKARU from everybody else.
Look at the percentages, Dara. Look at the percentages, Dara. They are neck and neck. These players are at the exact same level. The winner, it is up to the person in the arena. And they're fighting. They're fighting. He's DIing. No way. That punish is not enough.
I don't know what the intentions with the neutral, but one but not enough height to be able to make it back on. He was down a little bit too low, and now HIKARU has to somehow get close enough to Gluto. He needs an up tilt.
Glutonny forcing him to go that low. Glutonny still evolving in his offstage patterns, and HIKARU, the mix-ups, they're hard to find. The grab right now will do it. HIKARU is looking for it. Got the spot dodge.
But the hitbox extension actually ended up messing up Gluto. He was stuck in a little bit too much lag. That up the back hit is going to come in clutch, and HIKARU keeping the stocks even, but he has some damage to make up now.
And the damage is wrecking. This is getting further and further out of HIKARU's control. Keep in mind, the waft is just about on deck as well. The shield poke, that's a huge weakness for Donkey Kong. You cannot rely on the shield. And Wario has shield pressure for days.
Spacing out some of these back airs. Those are the jump callouts. He's been getting them all set.
And he's so accurate with them, but the Wario airspeed just a bit too much even for HIKARU. And this Game 5 is looking like the European champ is getting the win home.
He's keeping himself in the game. He's locking himself in mentally. He's not going through a lot of bad habits, but oh my god, that down B thing is huge.
You know who's keeping himself in the game? It's HIKARU. Down a full stock. The waft is looming. It's looming.
Especially on Final Destination. Especially when Gluto just needs this. Is this it? Is it time? No, that's not a falling uphill. This is so close. And Gluto is looking for it, but HIKARU fighting his way back. This is so dangerous.
HIKARU's still in it. The way he played that was insane. The attack roll away. Not scattered by Gluto. HIKARU, he's launching an offensive. He's launching an offensive. This is in reach. Those monkey arms are huge.
But that Angel Plat invulnerability let him get away with that bike toss.
That was and Glutonny with a Game 5 victory like a phoenix, rising from the ashes of defeat and taking victory for himself. Now earns the right to face T in grand finals, representing Europe, representing France, representing Solari.
so many people are chanting behind Gluto. They want him to defend the Legion. I cannot applaud Gluto enough. I was so scared after that previous game. I was so scared that that was going to be a Gluto who was dropping on his execution. A Gluto that was missing out his damage output and missing out his combos. And you just got to respect HIKARU at the end of all of that, at the end of getting that third place, smiling, bowing down to the crowd, a crowd favorite. How can you not love this man? He is a joy to watch play. He is a joy to watch in the face cam. He is a sweetheart of a human being.
And insanely skilled on the sticks. The way he pilots Donkey Kong makes that character look viable. It makes that character a threat. And I've never seen it before. I know Chunky Kong is good, don't get me wrong, but the way HIKARU is playing this, it's on another level.
HIKARU is playing somebody with an obsession. Specifically, he has so much situational awareness of the times that he can mash out disadvantage. I know that sounds silly to say, but you do not know how many times it's like, that was a really bad neutral air whiff that you can immediately get whiff punish for. No. He knows how to auto cancel. He knows exactly when this is going to be a tech chase, or if he has enough time to press a button, sometimes close enough by a frame. He DIs up in a lot of moves that like send him horizontally just so that he can avoid those tech chases. You set up Donkey Kong in tech chases, you already know how bad his tech rolls are. You can see a similar thing with somebody like Leon, who opts for a lot of directional air dodges to land back down when the situation would typically set up a tech chase. HIKARU is so confident in his execution that he just goes through those auto cancels. He just knows exactly when it is his turn. That is what makes HIKARU the Donkey Kong. He is him.
He's got that Kong in him. He's got that Kong in him. Let's look at some of the highlights. The Mii Brawler making an appearance, but it was not to last. Glutonny taking some early deaths, but still picking up that win. Look at the taunts. HIKARU, like we said, he is an entertainer. And entertain he does.
It's not out of BM.
There it is.
It was to make the crowd happy. It's to make himself happy as well. So, wow, I gotta say that was some incredible stuff. And congratulations to HIKARU for making it this far.
Third place. So, this was the turning point, Lilac, where HIKARU really grabbed momentum. He really figured out some of Glutonny's tendencies, and look at that, just a step ahead of Glutonny going into Final Destination. This was a tragic game for Glutonny, where he had the win on deck.
It goes both ways.
It did.
Glutonny was able to take take advantage of FD as much.
Look at the deficits. The comeback went both ways. It was a tragedy for Glutonny, but he was also down 150-ish. And he still was in the game. That shows a lot about Glutonny's skill.
He is incredible with his perseverance, the way that he stuck it out that game. This is a different Gluto. We did not see this Gluto previously. Previously, he would have, admittedly, not to be harsh, kept on choking, but not today. He kept his head of the game. His execution was on point. His damage output was on point, and he got his waft. He lives and wins by that waft.
Exactly, Dara. Could not have said it better myself. The up throw on the bike into a raw waft. How does he do it?
That coverage was ridiculous.
It's a bit ratchet, but it's just the right amount of ratchet.
That's right.